Welcome into the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with Benedictine College baseball coach Anthony Everman. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
19-14 so far in the year, 8-4 so far in conference play. Talk a little bit about your season to this point.
Yeah, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. We stumble from time to time where we maybe don't score some runs when we get a good pitching outing, and then we get a good pitching outing. We just need to score. Then if we score some runs, then we need to have a good outing on the mound, which, this last series we had kind of both in the same day. So we're still trying to figure out how to be consistent in all three areas. We've done a very good job of it so far this year. We still got to keep improving.
4-game sweep against Baker, not only does it kickstart your conference schedule, but also to go to your school's main rival and handle them for 4 games. How was that? How did that feel?
It felt good. Anytime you're in conference play and you get a win, it's a good thing. And, the scores may not look like it, but those games were closer. In the middle of the game, there was 2 or 3 run spread at times, and they had runners on and could have easily tied the game up. In one of the games, they took the lead, and we were able to answer back. And I think that's the big thing I took from that weekend was our ability to overcome some of those deficits, or if we gave them runs, we answered back and got some more. And at the end of the game, you're wanting more runs than them, even if it looks different in between. But I thought our guys competed very well on the mound and at the plate, and defense was pretty solid. So we're very happy with the 4-game sweep.
You guys just got done with Evangel, dropped 3 of 4 in a 4-game set. You talked a little bit about having pitching one day, maybe hitting not the next day. What did you see from that series besides that?
Yeah, there's some inconsistencies there, and you have to give credit to your opponent. Obviously, they had a good pitching plan against us, and I felt like we could have executed a little bit better on offense to take some pressure off our pitching staff. Defensively, we were very solid the whole weekend, or series, I should say, being we played midweek. But just looking for a little bit more consistency offensively, and if you know what you're going to get, or you dictate your own success a little bit more. It just makes the other 2 areas of the game a little bit easier, So that's what I saw. I felt like that was our deficiency, was just consistency on offense.
Rained out on Saturday. Supposed to play on Friday and Saturday. Game got moved to Tuesday. How difficult is it, not only logistically to get everything set up, but also mentally, both player-wise and coaching-wise, to have the series moved and lengthened to a midweek?
Yeah, it was unusual. That's the first time that's happened since I've been here, if I can remember right. But it felt kind of like a midweek doubleheader. It was on a Tuesday. We're used to making adjustments with class and doing our work before we leave. So I didn't feel that awkward. I think our players, once we got on the bus, we knew it was a business trip, and we're going down there to, compete for 2 games. And I just felt like we just didn't run off the plan offensively. The second game we did. We scored 9 runs, and unfortunately we had a rare, collapse on the mound, which hasn't happened this year with the bullpen very often. So. 1 or 2 games I was happy with our production. We had, like I said, an unusual outing that hasn't happened. I don't know how much it affected the players, but I felt like we were ready. I felt like we were prepared, and I just didn't think we executed in the first game, and then just kind of had a trip up at the end of game 2 there. So.
A couple of guys that have been executing, they've been 1 and 2 in your offense. They're 1 and 2 in a majority of the offensive categories in the heart. Michael Slade and Matthew Jarecki. Talk a little bit about those 2.
Yeah, they're very talented players, and I think the reason you're seeing a lot of production on the field is their work ethic in practice and on off days. Both of those guys are very focused on being as good as they can be. They're both having good years, but yet yesterday was an off day and both of them came in and hit. So I don't think that's a coincidence. There's a little bit of pride in their work on the field game days to help get our offense going. Both of them being in the top 3 of our order, they're kind of the engine that drives the car a little bit there. So that's been a good 1-2 punch. They're up at the top with either Daryl Myers or Austin Watominik, or Logan Elliott's been in the 2 spot for us some too, and Jackson Abden. So it's been a good 1-2 punch at the top. They can't really pitch around one or the other, because then we have Rocky DeSantis behind Slayton or Logan Finley or Mike Cruz. So they've kind of been protected a little bit more this year, which has been a good thing, and their production has just been awesome. They're top of the league, and they're ranked in the country in a handful of categories as well. So they're having a great year so far.
I know it's still early, but both of them making a very strong case for Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't thought about that, but yeah, you're probably right. We got a lot of games to go yet. We got 20 conference games to go, and a lot of season left, which could give them a more opportunity to produce more, and do even better. So I'm looking forward to watching them compete this weekend, and they've been really fun to watch and fun to work with. And just hoping to continue some good numbers at the top of our lineup.
You talked a little bit about him, a guy that worked his way into the starting rotation and into right field. Michael Cruz, 6 starts on the mound, 5-1, also hitting over 300.
Yeah.
As a two-way guy, that's pretty impressive to have him do both.
Yeah, you got him and Michael Slayton, in our starting rotation and starting on the field as position players, which is very rare. We really felt coming into the year Michael Cruz was going to have a lot of opportunities on the mound. And like you said, he's worked his way into the right field spot and hitting in the middle of our order. He's just done a really good job of being focused on his daily preparation and just trying to improve and make his outings better on the mound. And he's really set us up for a lot of wins, on the weekend, whether it's non-conference or in the league. And, he's just had good outings over and over and over and keeps us right in it, throws a ton of strikes, gets ahead of hitters. And then he also gets a chance to swing the bat in the games he's not pitching, and he's really helped our lineup with a little bit of a shot in the arm that was kind of unexpected, to be honest.
Moving into this weekend, Missouri Valley 4-game set back at home. What are your expectations?
Well, I'm hoping the rain stays away.
Yeah.
That's the hope. My expectation is for us to come off a little bit of a disappointing day on Tuesday and get back to what we expect and what we prepare for. Hoping to have a good couple days of practice here and get back on track offensively. And our pitching staff has done a really good job this year, especially in conference. Holding teams down, and if you hold them under 5, our expectation is our offense should score at least that many. So we got to start producing a little bit more there and reward our pitchers for giving us good outings and giving us a chance to win.
I haven't had a chance to ask you yet. I know it's old news. Pretty cool though for your program. Ben Costello, SportsCenter top 10 play.
Yeah.
It's just really cool to see the walk-on freshman, the work ethic that he's put in, and then for him to do something like that. Not only does it highlight him, but it also highlights your program.
Yeah, and it was a lot of hands in that. I know you guys did a great job helping push that, and Coach Hillcrew, who runs our Twitter account, helped push that. And most importantly, Ben made the play, right? And it was awesome. Ben's just a really good kid that's really appreciative of his opportunity in our program, has continued to work and get better, and see his success on the mound as well. Has been great, and he's very well liked by his teammates. And the reaction to the play was great in the dugout. All the guys happy, and even Ben had to crack a smile on the mound. Which doesn't always happen on the field, but. It was great for him to have a good outing, first of all. Second of all, make that play and then be recognized on a national level, which brings good exposure to Benedictine College in general. So, again, thank you guys for that and pushing that. And obviously the coverage of the games have been great since I've been here, and I know a lot of people appreciate the work you guys do. So,
Coach, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you this weekend against Missouri Valley.
Thank you very much.
Anthony Everman, head coach of the Benedictine College baseball team on the BRSN Insider.
Benedictine College is a chosen place with a special mission. Chosen to lead students in the classroom and outside it. Chosen to bring students closer to God and to each other. Chosen to build one of the great Catholic colleges in America.
There's a call to be answered. The spirit of competition is still alive inside. The desire still drives. The phrase student athlete has a great ring to it. Lasting friendships are ready to be made. You just want to keep playing. Game on. Build character for life at championsofcharacter.org.
Welcome back in the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with Dana Goss, head women's softball coach at Benedictine College. Coach, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
13-10 on the year, 5-5 so far in conference. What have you thought of your season?
Well, we got off to a really good start in many ways. We knew the conference was going to be a grind, with the new formatting and those kinds of things. Right now, the biggest thing is just getting over that hump of splitting games. I mean, we're showing obviously we can play with the very best teams. We just need to put it together for two complete games, and I think we'll get there. I have no doubt about that. I would obviously like to be there now.
You said playing against some of the best teams. Your team had a chance to play the number one team in the country, the defending national champions. What is that like to have an experience like that early in the year?
Oh, that was a great experience to be able to play them. Not only number one team in the nation, but longest standing ranked team of any sport at any level. Have never been out of national rankings as long as national rankings have been around. So they are the standard for what you want to do as a program for sure. It was our third game that day. We tried to do a couple different things that, didn't really work out so well for us. So it would have been great to give them our best shot, but just to, get to play someone of that caliber and for our kids to look across the field and go, okay, yeah, this is where we want to go, as far as competition-wise.
Last time out, you split against Peru State. Talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, we knew that Peru would be tough. They have two of the top kids in the conference on the offensive side of things with leading RBIs and also leading batting average, two different kids. And, they certainly upheld their reputation on that end of the ball. We just didn't have timely hitting. I mean, that first game to lose 3-1, but I believe we had 9 hits and we only came up with 1 run. And we had a couple of good individual performances, but you've got to string it together as a team. And, interesting enough, then we turn around the second game, we only have 5 hits, but we score 4 runs. So just the difference there was being able to come up with that clutch, timely hit.
Nikki McNeil, Alex Gillen, very good the other day. Have been good for you so far this year in the circle. Talk a little bit about their performance.
Yeah, again, both very young. Nikki is halfway through her sophomore campaign, and there's no doubt about it that she's anchored herself as our ace. But she's still got a lot of growing to do, and that's encouraging. Alex is, about 10, 11 games into her freshman year, so she also has some growing to do. They've both shown just absolute greatness at times, and they've both shown that they're a little inconsistent at times too, and those things do come with youth, and we know that that's going to get better as the season goes along, and it has. Their numbers have been improving. They have a lot more command of the strike zone. They're throwing less balls. They're just being a lot more efficient with their pitches, and that's what we need them to be, and so they're doing a good job there. And the good thing is now we have a third option. Lauren Berry had some rough outings at the beginning of the season, and there's no reason to not acknowledge that. But the good thing is she did have a good outing, her last performance, and that gives us another option, and we really do need to have that. So that's an encouraging thing, and that'll make our other kids that much better too.
The middle of your order, Courtney Parker, Sarah Methvin, Lindsay Profit, has been nothing short of dominant so far for you guys this year. 103 RBIs total for a team. They've driven in 71 of them. The 3 of them in the middle of your order, what are they like as an opposing pitcher, an opposing team to prepare for that?
Well, part of the reason that they've been able to have those RBIs, Alex Burris has been swinging a red-hot bat the last couple of weeks and, doing her job as the table setter of getting on. So that's a huge thing. Courtney is not a typical number 2 hole hitter. That's something that I think that some of the pitchers, when they see her come up in that 2 spot and they see the confidence and the air that she just has as a hitter before she ever even puts a stroke on a ball, they think about her. She has, a great presence, and to be able to follow that up is Sarah and Lindsay. So they really can't pitch around one to get to the other. And I think that has helped add to the success of that. And that's really why we kind of went with a little non-traditional lineup in that format, and it's working out so far. They've been able to all come up in big moments, and every one of them has come through for us in a moment. Of course, they'd always like to come through every time, but that's just not how the world works. So, but they have done a great job.
You've had 8 postponed games so far this year due to weather. How tough is that?
Well, it has been tough. There is no doubt about that, and it's one of those things where we're never going to use that as an excuse. And as I tell my team all the time, that the teams that handle this stuff the best are the teams that are probably going to come out on top. The fact of the matter is our conference is very, very wide open. There's a lot of parity. All the teams have gotten better every year that I've been here. And if we can learn how to handle that and prepare still without having the game reps at this time, then we'll be okay. And I do think a little bit of that has shown up at times, because you want to build that consistency of the days that you're playing and then having those practices to be able to work on things. But we can't control that, so we just really have to have a great approach with how we handle it. And luckily, they're all pretty good students, so they're able to handle that side of it as well too. So
right now, scheduled to play 2 on Sunday against Culver Stockton. Could possibly change with the schedule as well due to the weather. But your expectations for that one, playing at home?
Well, Culver is very good. The scouting report on them is that they're very good. You know, last year we played them in a doubleheader and they swept us. And a game, I felt like both of those games that we really underperformed as a team. So I'm definitely ready to face them again. I know that they are going to be good, you know, no matter what the outcome is. Interesting enough, you know, we're looking at moving those games to tomorrow instead of Sunday based upon the weather reports. And again, that's part of what it is that we're dealing with right now. And, you know, but we're not the only team dealing with it. They are, and so are most of our opponents. So, again, we just have to be able to be ready. And the one thing, too, that I keep telling my kids, you know, we've had so many days that we go without playing. And so, you know, the excitement of a game day is almost magnified that much more because, you know, they want to be out on that field. And hopefully that's the energy and passion that they'll bring when we play tomorrow.
A lot of people only see the game side of it. There's a lot of field maintenance prep that goes into it, especially when you have weather like this. One of the best facilities in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. What do you guys do to try and counter the rain?
Yeah, that's a great point. We played Tuesday, and we were working up until game time. We put about 11 hours between me and my assistant into getting the field ready to play. And so, you know, you really want your team to play well when you're having to go through that. But you know, there's another blessing right there. You know, we were able to come up with a tarp for our field, which was, it seems like a very simple thing, but that was huge because without that, we would not have even had an opportunity at all to play. But there's a lot of field work that goes into it. We're lucky that we do have a great facility here. But it doesn't just happen by itself. There's definitely a lot that goes into that. But you know that going into the deal here, and so you know we just hope that you know our kids understand like when we have the opportunity to play, no matter what it takes to get there, that's what we're going to do. And you know, like we may have to drive in an unusual way on Saturday and take some vans. And you know, my message is just, you know, I was talking to one of my coaching friends, like if we have to get in a rowboat and go, that's what we'll do, and that has to be our approach. You know, we have to want to play that bad that we'll do whatever it takes, whether it be the field work or you know different avenues.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you very much.
Yes,
best luck this weekend. Hopefully, you guys don't get washed out and the weather stays away.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much for having me.
Dana Goss, head softball coach at Benedictine College on the BRSN Insider.
Benedictine College is a chosen place with a special mission. Chosen to lead students in the classroom and outside it. Chosen to bring students closer to God and to each other. Chosen to build one of the great Catholic colleges in America.